The James Show Podcast.
Check out this news. Remember how last week there was like this big, atrocious ICE raid where these evil men were showing up in masks and they were just kidnapping good people, hardworking people, children even. Where's the follow-up on that? Because there was the 2 ICE raids on the pot farms in California last week, and it dropped out of the news, and that's too damn bad. Because we actually got the police reports that were all filled out and filed. And now, just like, man, one of the greatest things Rush Limbaugh taught us, was the drive-by nature of the media. You know, he called them the drive-by media. This is exactly what he's talking about. They swoop in, they do this emotional take, they try and tug at your heartstrings, you know, the human angle. Oh, can you believe the ICE is doing this? They're literally the Gestapo. They're Nazis. This is what the Nazis did. How do you support the Orange Man bad? Well, why do you just drop this? If it's so damn important, why do you just drop it when we actually have some concrete information on what happened? This is why. Because their narrative would get blown to bits. Public opinion would go counter to the narrative if you knew the full story. So, yeah, following the Rush Limbaugh drive-by media pattern perfectly is this pot farm ICE raid. Because the numbers that came back from the pot farm ICE raid, look, before I even tell you, let me have you guess. How many criminals do you think were arrested? And I don't mean being here illegal. I mean, besides being here illegally, how many of these were actual criminals with a record? What do you think? It was like 5? Think it was a dozen? Do you think it was a big number, like 20? See if you can pick it up here. This is Fox News reporting yesterday.
At that particular operation, David, at those marijuana facilities, our ICE enforcement officers found 14 children, 10 who were unaccompanied. They were likely being exploited, potential slave or forced labor, potential child and human trafficking. So this is something that is incredibly disturbing. It goes far beyond politics. And not only were there 10 unaccompanied children at that marijuana facility, but we also apprehended 361 illegal aliens with heinous rap sheets that include kidnapping, child molestation, rape, serial burglary, hit and runs. These are no people who should not be in our communities illegally, much less around innocent children, David.
Any media outlet who went out there and gave you the cursory emotional take on the pot raids, but didn't circle back and tell you about the criminal element that the American society was absolved of from those raids is dishonest propaganda hacks. That's what they are. 361 people were picked up. These must have been some pretty big farms. That's a lot of employees for 2 farms. That's a lot of weed. I don't know if the Grammys are going to be able to go on after that, but
smoke weed every day.
But we got rapists, kidnappers, child molesters, burglars, hit and run, and DUI are bad as well. But that's who was taken out of these raids. And the American people would hold ICE in higher regard if they knew the truth about the raids. The American people would reject the narrative if it was more than, oh, look at these guys are just working hard. The Trump administration lied to you. They said they were just going to go after criminals. No, they didn't. They said they were going to focus on. That was going to be their primary. That was going to be their first goal. But they didn't say they were only going to arrest criminal illegals. They were only going to deport illegal immigrants who had committed heinous, violent crimes on top of their existing crimes of breaking our immigration laws. No one said that. No one believes that. But you keep being told that. You keep being told you didn't vote for this. This isn't what you want. You don't want regular old non-criminal illegal aliens being deported. And I think the answer for most of us is, yeah, actually we do. Here's Jessica Tarloff trying to do this whole, doesn't this feel like in the first Star Wars when Obi-Wan Kenobi pulls off to the stormtroopers, these aren't the droids you're looking for. These aren't the droids we're looking for. Yes, move along. Yeah, and he just waves his hand. And these people, look, those Jedi mind tricks don't work on those with strong minds. Only the weak-minded people are affected by this. So what kind of weak-minded stormtrooper do you have to be to believe Jessica Tarloff? No, we didn't vote for ICE raids at work sites. We didn't vote for ICE raids at immigration courts when you damn well know we did. Here she is. Just
they need to cooperate with ICE to hand over people who have been convicted of something. I'm not talking about crossing the border as something that is convictable. I'm saying that if you commit a crime once you are on U.S. soil, you should be turned over to ICE. And I think that's an easy exchange. And that's what people voted for in November.
Oh, is it?
And you would have a much stronger case against the overreach that we're seeing in terms of what ICE is doing now that is not commensurate with what the American public wants. They didn't vote for people to show up at Home Depots.
Yeah,
they didn't vote for people to show up at immigration courts. They didn't vote for the fact that there's new data out from Cato that 65% of the people that ICE has taken into custody have had no convictions.
Whoop-de-doo. No, actually, I did vote for that. You know, I am sick of being told that I don't really think things that I think, and I think you are too. Did you vote for this? Are you, like, regretting your vote because they're picking up illegals at Home Depot? Or have for your entire life, when you go to a Home Depot and see illegal immigrants hanging out in the parking lot waiting to jump in the back of a pickup, you're like, why doesn't somebody come pick these guys up? Because that's what I've been thinking. That's what you've been thinking. That's what your dad thinks. That's what your coworkers think. That's what most of us think, except for maybe probably Jessica Tarloff thinks that. She just wouldn't dare say it on TV. I'm tired of being told that I didn't vote for this. Yes, I did. Well, if you don't get it, then why are you trying to use this as an argument? This is all you got? This is your argument against the ICE raids? Oh, you didn't vote for this? Yeah. I did. Well, they haven't really committed any other crimes, and that's not what the people voted for. Yeah, it is, actually. I don't know if you understand this, Jessica, and everyone else. We're not lying when we say we want illegal immigrants deported, period, point blank, end of story. I don't care if they committed extra crimes on top of that. I don't care if they're running around handing out food to the homeless. Get them out of here, and I'm okay with that. You know, it's like we're being told, no one cares to see that Epstein list. No one's interested in that. Yes, we are. Yeah, I want to see it. No, it doesn't affect my life one whit either way. But I do want to see it. I would like to see justice. I do know that from the reports and the information that has been made public that dozens, if not hundreds of ladies, some of whom were underage, were repeatedly raped by Jeffrey Epstein on the island, his Palm Beach house, the Manhattan house. Didn't he have that ranch in New Mexico? Yeah, I would like to see anyone who raped a child go to prison and be held accountable for it. I don't care if they're on Team Blue or Team Red. I don't care if they're a Republican or a Democrat. I don't care if they're the heads of some other state. I don't care if it's my favorite celebrity, my favorite musician. No, I do want them all to go to jail. Yes, that is what I voted for. I want to see the Epstein list. I want illegal immigrants deported. I don't care if they're at Home Depot. I don't care if they're at immigration court. I don't care if they're standing on the final stage of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Go pick them up. Throw cuffs on them. Get them out of here. Oh, well, who's going to pick your crops? We'll figure it out. Oh, no, so a head of lettuce is going to be 28 cents more. I think I'll adapt just fine. Thank you very much. Is this what you voted for? I get this feeling when I have conversations with my friends and sometimes listeners, sometimes family members and acquaintances and neighbors and whatnot. And that's the idea that the news keeps trying to steer your thoughts. Like, you didn't vote for this. Did you vote? No, the American people don't want ICE raids and immigrants being picked up at immigration court. Yeah, we do. If they're illegal, we want them gone. Well, the American people didn't vote for them to be picked up at schools and hospitals. Yeah, actually, we did. I don't know if you understand, but if someone's an illegal immigrant, we want them deported. But the American people didn't vote for non-criminal illegal immigrants and that haven't committed any crimes above and beyond, immigration crimes. They don't want them deported. Yeah, we do. What is so hard to understand about we want them deported? I don't know if do they really think like do they think we think like that? Or are they trying to convince us that we think like that? Because it's not going to work on me. I'm cool with it. Most people I talk to are cool with it. So who are they talking to? Who are these Trump voters out there? Show me a Trump voter who's like, well, I didn't want all illegal immigrants deported, just the ones that rape children. Because I don't know anyone that said that. That's an honest to God Team Red supporter. I don't know. And they do that on the local level. I mean, they're doing that in a couple of stories on the local level. I mean, it's so bizarre. 800-288-9227 if you want to jump in on that. But here we go again. Like there's a stupid train. God, I hate government trains. Government passenger trains. I hate them so much. I really do. It's such an embarrassing waste of money. And there's one that, they can't stop coming up with bad ideas here. There's a passenger train that goes between Norman, Oklahoma, just south of Oklahoma City, over there. OU country. Yeah, Boomer Sooner. Gotcha. And it goes to Fort Worth. Well, this is a train that passed into existence and is supposed to be supported, but its existing funding structure from you, the taxpayer, isn't covering the cost. They tell you it's important. They tell you this is a successful line. They tell you, look, man, this carried over 80,000 passengers last year. It's super important. It's vital to the economic interest of both regions. Well, why can't it support itself if it's so damn vital? Why do you need more taxpayer money if it's so vital? So the taxpayer money that was already allocated to it from one of these places that shouldn't even exist, what's it called? Like North Central Texas Council of Governments Regional Transportation Council. That's a thing. Yes, the word council's in there twice. Why? Government's stupid. That's why. But they're saying, well, look, they're shirking their responsibilities in the Heartland Flyer. That's what it's called, the Heartland Flyer passenger rail service. Stop it. So they petitioned the state legislature, and if they can't directly get your tax money through the North Central Texas Council of Governments Regional Transportation Council, then they asked the state of Texas to just take the money from you via Austin. But thank God that the state legislature shut it down. So then they were scared. They were like, well, this vital lifeline is going to be left unfulfilled. Well, why don't you charge the people that are riding the train enough that it actually pays for itself? Oh, because then they wouldn't choose it? Oh, so if it's only vital if it's subsidized by me and Sean and Garrett and you, then it's not really a success now, is it? It sounds like a failure to me. It sounds like if you're running a $3.5 million deficit, that's not on the successful side of the ledger in my book. No worries. They're going to get the money from you anyway. Here's the bad news. I got this from DallasExpress.com. They're going to take it from your toll money. That's right. You don't have a choice. You're going to pay for it whether you like it or not. You're going to pay for it with your regular taxes. And if they can't go get it from your property taxes down in Austin, you're still going to pay for it through your tolls. So these tolls for cars where you're riding around on these streets going up this tollway to Plano, or you're going to go across to George Bush, or wherever you're getting dinged for tolls, which is all over the place now, they're not even going to take that money and use it for your roads, Mr. Car Passenger. They're going to take that money from you and put it on this train that you don't want, that you don't ride, that is a failing, embarrassing loser every single year. So $3.5 million. And that's just the start of it. They're taking money from people who are paying for it by taking a car to work and giving it and rewarding the train riders. Boy, if that isn't a special interest, if that isn't an exalted privilege, and if that's not what do they call it? You're being oppressed. You're being disenfranchised. Here you are. You're actually being disenfranchised here. They're taking money from car drivers, car riders, and giving it to people who ride the train. Man, that is such BS. That is nasty. It's ugly. It's dishonest. It's corrupt. And this whole idea that all we need is one more government-sponsored choo-choo train from here to there and things will be better. It is a money hole, and it's embarrassing, and it's a loser, and I absolutely hate it. I do. I know that's a strong word, but I do. I can't believe people fall for this stuff. How long have you seen all this stuff going on? You were told that it would make traffic better. Has traffic gotten better now that we've spent these billions and billions of dollars on trains? I want to say billions and billions of dollars. I don't mean cumulatively over the 40 years of DART's existence. I mean, that's what we spend on an annual basis is billions of dollars on this. No, all of these tracks need to be ripped up. All the trains need to be scrapped. And DART and the what's this goofy thing's name? The North Central Texas Council of Governments Regional Transportation Council. They all need to be fired and write a public apology letter to the taxpayers of the state of Texas, because you've been absolutely robbed for this myth, this fantasy that we need passenger trains. Yeah, because that's all we need. We need a cheaper subsidized ride from Fort Worth to Norman. Yeah, we're on a rocket ship there. Tony from Watauga emailed in. He's like, rounding up illegals at Home Depot or schools or grocery stores or pot farms, etc., is exactly what I voted for. And he put exactly in all caps, so you know he means it. He says, I'm glad to see the left wailing and gnashing their teeth, and I don't mind paying a bit more for fruits and vegetables to be rid of the drain on the American economy and health and education systems. I agree the train is stupid. I don't use the toll roads very often, so I don't kick in on that boondoggle. That does explain why toll rates are rising. It also explains why toll rates will never go away. It's just a way to rob you. It's a way to rob you and take money from you on projects that you're clearly not using because you're on a toll road with your car, and give it to people who aren't on a toll road with their car, because that's where that money's supposed to go. Every pothole you hit on a toll road, I want you to think of these stupid trains. Because someone else, who is this? Casey Jones, that's not your real name, because he's writing about trains. I think it's a fake name. He says, James, the worthless commuter train that runs through Grapevine, North Richland Hills, is a ridiculous waste of money. Good. Look.
Are you sure? That's not what you voted for.
He says, morning drive down Davis Boulevard is interrupted by a train that nobody rides. It backs up traffic for a half-mile. Morons. Oh, man, I hear that. Listen, our studios are down here at the American Airlines Center, and we have the big train station that's right next to our studios on the other side of this building, and it's just empty trains all damn day. And look, during rush hour, there'll be like, I don't know, a baker's dozen people on like 5-car train. But for the most part, it's like the Truman Show. It's just empty trains pull up, the doors open, no one gets off, no one gets on. It waits a second, the doors close, zoom, 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 and then it goes off just like that. It's the dumbest thing in the world. And it still exists. They can't stop stealing from you, can they? This is George in Fort Worth. You're on WBAP.
Hey, James. I was just calling about the immigration you were talking about, and it's exactly what I voted for. The money that is spent in education, in, medicine and doctors and everything else that's not getting paid back for the citizen, all that money could go to our vets, could go to disabled people we have here.
Or how about this? We just cut taxes and we keep it our damn self. How about that?
Yeah.
The people that talk about saving money, you're not going to win me over by saying it could be spent on these other government programs. No, how about we just let me keep my damn money? Because, look, I am not a wealthy guy. I am not a high-income guy. But when you add up all the taxes you have, it comes at you from so many different angles. It's hard to get a beat on it. Because, for my income taxes, I itemize my deductions. I have some self-employment. I could write down, I can stay in that 12% bracket. I'm almost in the 20% bracket. That's a big jump there. But I'm still getting clocked with 13% Social Security tax. And some of you are saying, it's only 6.5%. Yeah, but the employer has to match that and pay it to the government on my behalf. So there's another 13%. So I'm at 25% just when I get my check. Then I have sales taxes. I have property taxes. I have all the goofy little taxes that are on my cell phone bill and my water bill. And these taxes come from everywhere. I pay I'm not saying I'm a poor person. I'm just solidly middle class. I pay over 30% of my income in taxes, and I'm not even a rich dude. So you people who are up in the 20% bracket, or God forbid in that 37% bracket, you're paying more than half your income in taxes. I don't know why everyone isn't biting, scratching, and clawing to repeal every stupid program like these trains or whatever else they can come up with, the global warming coloring book in Botswana. It just drives me nuts. And we're all paying for it. I don't understand why everyone isn't livid. Everyone, you cool with just a 40% of your income being taken by the government and flushed down the toilet? I'm not. Anyway, you got me excited there, George. Thank you very much.
Everybody should be mad.
All right. This is Bradley in Colleyville. Garrett, you don't know how to spell Colleyville? You're on WBAP. Bradley?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound great, Bradley. Go.
So, I don't know if y'all are aware about that train that runs between the airport and downtown Fort Worth. They actually had Mothers Against Drunk Drivers trying to make sure that went into the Stockyard Station, and they decided to bypass it because the city of Fort Worth needed more revenue off of drunk drivers. Isn't that not amazing?
Oh, no. So drunk driving is seen as a revenue vehicle by the powers that be? Because I'm going to give you here's a very unpopular opinion. Some people are going to hate me, but I hope more than half of you don't. I think the drunk driving laws, as they stand now, are absolutely absurd. No, I am not pro-drunk driving. Yes, I am anti-drunk driving. I discourage drunk people from driving. But 0.8% alcohol means you get pulled over and thrown in the clink, and it's going to cost you $20,000 in court fees and costs and fines and rehab and, I don't know, drug classes or whatever you got to do. No, it really has turned in from a public safety mechanism to a revenue generator. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And if it's infecting their statecraft, then it's really a problem. But look, The train from downtown Fort Worth to where'd you say the airport? Even if it wasn't stopped by drunk driving preferences, I still don't want it. I don't want any of these trains. I would make an exception that if we took an existing train track and we had a private company come and run their own train doesn't cost the taxpayers anything. Oh, I'd be for that. I'm not against the concept of passenger trains. I'm against the concept of government passenger trains, which is what all of them are. Why? Because it's such a bad idea, it can't exist even in the private sector. You know, there was a concerning article I found, DallasExpress.com. There was a study that was done by the Metroplex Civic and Business Association. And I got to tell you, I've liked some of their studies before, so I'm paying attention to these guys. Downtown Dallas, back in March, had a crime score that was 7 times higher than Fort Worth. In April, the crime in downtown Dallas was 11 times higher than Fort Worth. It was 7 times higher in May, and now has calmed down a little bit, but still god-awful. The crime in downtown Dallas, 5 times higher than Fort Worth. And you're thinking, well, Dallas is a bigger city. Duh, Parker. Yeah, but in the downtown area, there's about 10,000 folks that in Fort Worth, and there's about 15,000 in Dallas. So maybe it could be, 1.5 times as high. That would be within the ratio. That would be comparable. But, bro, we're at 5 times higher. It was 11 times higher in April. So what are we talking about here? Are you talking about jaywalking? No. When you talk about assault offenses, there were 69 assault offenses in Dallas. I know, just grow up, people. Versus 15 in Fort Worth in June. That's 5 times more. When it comes to theft offenses, there were 64 in Dallas, only 11 in Fort Worth. For drug violations, 18 in Dallas, 1 in Fort Worth. For car thefts, auto thefts, motor vehicle thefts, there were 24 cars stolen in downtown Dallas in June, only 4 in Fort Worth. Now, here's a couple of interesting ones. Number 1, weapon law violations. In June, there were 5 in downtown Dallas, 0 in Fort Worth. And for prostitution offenses, 6 in Dallas, 0 in Fort Worth. That's a lot. That's significant. So let's theorize here. Why do we think that Fort Worth has such a better record when it comes to crime? Well, I mean, look, the easiest, obvious one would be like, well, I guess Fort Worth, downtown Fort Worth is filled with better people than downtown Dallas. It's like, ooh, James, it's kind of a touchy subject. I didn't mention anything about race or socioeconomic factors or immigration status or nationality or background or ethnicity or religion. I didn't say anything. I just said, obviously, we have a better group of people in downtown Fort Worth than downtown Dallas. Now, we need to stop being so sensitive and let our walls down and stop being so politically correct and ask, why is that? And then let me throw some ideas at you. Maybe Fort Worth actually enforces its vagrancy laws with a little more vigor than Dallas does. You know, I was just in downtown Fort Worth, not this weekend, like 3 days ago, but last weekend, walking around. You know how many homeless people I saw? I think 2. If I go walk down in downtown Dallas tonight, there's going to be a lot more than that. But overall, let me ask you this. Which city is more red? Which city is more blue? Which city is a little more serious about their crime enforcement? Like, you know, maybe Fort Worth isn't so loose with letting criminals out on bail or zero bail or cash bail or their own recognizance. Maybe when someone is convicted of a crime, maybe Fort Worth gives them longer sentences. Maybe Dallas is known by the criminals as a place where if you're going to commit crime, you'd much rather do it in Dallas than Fort Worth, so they come here. Maybe it has something to do with the policy positions that the voters of Fort Worth insist on that the voters in Dallas do not. I don't know. Maybe they just have better trains. What do I know? This is Bill in Decatur. You're on WBAP, Bill.
Yeah, I was calling in about the train.
Tell me about it.
I'm from California, where we have previously had a major train fiasco out there with the bullet train. These politicians don't only approve these trains because they're trying to steal money from the taxpayers. They hire contractors that build these trains, and they get kickbacks from these contractors, making themselves rich.
Oh, yeah.
And that's possibly why they're pushing for this train so hard.
Oh, dude, that's for pretty much everything. Like when they say, well, we need to buy this office building and renovate it for offices. Well, no, you don't have a shortage of office space in Dallas City Hall, but you do get to hand out the contracts to the contractors who are going to make millions of dollars off of this. Oh, we need to get this old theater. We need to go get the Forest Theater in Oak Cliff, and we don't need it to be sold to someone new outside of Dallas. We'll buy that and we'll renovate it ourselves. No, it's never about saving the theater. It's never about the train. It's never about the next road or whatever. It's about the kickbacks. You're absolutely right. Every dollar that we allow them to spend is just one more chance for corruption from our leaders. And look, the cities that are going to be ravaged by this, they kind of deserve it. That's the tough thing about democracy is you get the government you deserve. And, for bad voters, you're going to get the government you deserve good and hard.
I agree 100%.
Well, I'm glad that you called. Thank you, Bill in Decatur. Good stuff. That's a good one to end on today. All right, I already know part of what we're going to do tomorrow. Can I go ahead and whet your appetite for that? Because I talked about the Ice Block app before. They actually flagged some ice activity at a Dallas Home Depot. And so now we have some real safety concerns here. That whole theoretical story that I was talking about a week or so ago, it's just come home. Look forward to that. Before I hand it over to Mark Levin, I just want you to remember, if you need some more James Show action in the meantime, or maybe you just got to catch the last 30 minutes of the show, we had 2.5 hours of just kicking butt for the show that if you missed it, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go put up the podcast. You can check it out, WBAP.com, WBAP app, or wherever you're already listening to podcasts on other platforms. I really prefer you use our platform, but if you go look it up there, I see about 50% of you still listen to it on our competitors' apps. Whatever, I'll take it. I'm James Parker. This has been The James Show, News Talk 820 and 93.3 FM, WBAP.
The James Show Podcast.